My name is Shania LiVecchi, and I study Spanish at Damon College.
Okay. So what university and program were you enrolled in when you received Embrace Western New York's education scholarship?
I was enrolled in the Spanish program at Damon College with a specialization in community health promotion.
And what are your professional or career plans?
I plan on taking a gap year or however long I need to just explore career opportunities at this point before entering graduate school.
And can you just briefly describe your involvement in any LGBTQ plus organizations or efforts?
I interned at the Pride Center of Western New York in the summer of 2019, and that's also how I found out about Embrace Western New York. And I was able to learn a lot about just what people are advocating for in Western New York for the LGBT community during that internship, my experience with Embrace as well.
How has Embrace Western New York's education scholarship benefited you?
It's helped me get a head start on my student loans with the scholarship because obviously, like, I have to start paying them in 6 months, and that won't be too fun. But so far, it's really helped me a lot.
So, what has your work with Embrace Western New York taught you?
It's really taught me more about LGBT advocates in Buffalo. Before I interned at the Pride Center and before I was aware of Embrace, I really had no idea like how people were advocating for LGBT rights in the Buffalo area, and I didn't know that those resources were available. And I think it's honestly really important that we have organizations like the Pride Center and like Embrace in this area. I think Embrace Western New York is very important for equality and acceptance in our society. And by supporting LGBT-friendly organizations and developing like young adults to be strong community leaders and represent our community, it will help like all of the Western New York area just grow and flourish into a very like equal, accepting community.
What LGBTQ plus issues are important to you, and how do you think Embrace Western New York can help with those issues?
I think like the two main issues for me that are important are discrimination in healthcare and bullying against LGBT youth. And I've done like a little bit of research on discrimination in healthcare, and I just don't think there's enough education out there for a lot of healthcare practitioners on sexual orientation or gender identity. And a lot of doctors just feel uncomfortable with patients like talking about those things with them, and that's a huge issue because then patients aren't comfortable like sharing any necessary information about their medical health to the doctors. So I think Embrace can help that by helping implement educational programs for these doctors, and eventually we can start to see a lot more doctors be aware of how they address situations in their offices. And then for bullying, I definitely think that it's also another education thing. And I think that if children were able to see LGBT people represented like very early in their youth in a positive way, then it wouldn't be as much of an issue as it is. I think that a lot of people going through high school especially, they just don't have that representation, and a lot of other people just have like these stereotypes of the LGBT community. Makes it so hard for those people to accept themselves.
What advice do you have for LGBTQ plus youth?
I would definitely say be yourself and don't seek approval from others, and to come out on your own terms.
I like those.
And I just want to say thank you to past and present donors for the continued support that they give to Embrace Western New York and to the LGBT community in Buffalo. Hi, how are you?
Good. Yourself? How's the pandemic treating you?
It's all right. You know, I have like a lot more time on my hands.
an overwhelming amount of time on your hands, you could say.
Yeah, for sure. So, I just wanted to get right into the interview questions. So, how long has Cowpok been practicing in the Western New York region?
We've been open for 28 years. We opened in 1992, and we started a second location about 4 years ago.
How has Cowpok made strides as an ally to the queer community?
The biggest thing that I think that we do is we're really inclusive of our staff and also how we treat our clients. We currently have quite a few staff members that identify as queer or some member of the LGBTQ community. And we've always really hired very queer people over the last few years. And with our clients, we try to always be as inclusive as possible and make everyone feel as comfortable as possible. We also have been participants in the Pride Parade, so we've made our, well, for since the last like 6 years, so we've made our presence pretty known in the queer community too. We don't try and hide the fact that we are very inclusive and try to make everyone as comfortable when they walk in the door as possible. As a whole, when clients walk in the door, we really do try and use as neutral of language as possible, most inclusive language as possible. Even as simple as like when we call people in the back, when we could allow people to come in as moral support, like as a hand holder person, we never try and use like boyfriend, girlfriend, anything like that. It's like, oh, hey, buddy, you can come on in the back. Friend, you can come on in the back. As a whole, I think that we have just really tried to be as supportive for anybody that walks in the door as possible. We want you to feel as comfortable in our studio as we feel. And as I said, it is our second home. So we want you to feel like it's like that for you too.
All right, that's all the questions that I have.